And we're back. So what we're gonna do is we're going to look at what happened to that thing. Where we at? No. Hold up now. There we go. Slicer files. Let's go actually here first. Let's look at the individual cut piece that we cut. It was back right V1. Let's start here. So if this thing does have the ridge around the perimeter, then see, and it does. Okay, so man, that's confusing. So here's what happened. Looking at it in Mesh Mixer, this is the part that we just printed that just failed. It does have a rail at the top, okay? So then I was thinking it could be possible that maybe we tore it off whenever we broke off that piece of support. But let me just show you real quick why that's not the case. Let me dig it out of the trash can. Whenever you look at this part, okay, so this is 20% infill on all these parts, which means it like prints the perimeter and then it fills in the perimeter with like some crisscross lattice. It's kind of like Swiss cheesing, like in the middle of the part. So it's like basically hollow on the inside, just like solid on the outsides. So whenever I see this thing right here, see how the top texture of this is like an unbroken layer that is solid with no holes in it. So that kind of leads me to believe that we did not tear off the little rail when we separated this thing from it. I'm saying that now, but that sure does kind of look like the rail in there. Nah, because see, if you look at the top, this, the bottom, the underside of this is not the way that the top of the surface layer would look if this was supposed to be the top. So like, notice how this piece, see how it's like, what's supposed to be finished is actually like very smooth and like, that's what was adhered to the build plate. The part that's like, I don't know, glossy. When I look at the top of this, none of this has that glossy appearance. In fact, if I hold the light just right, you can almost see through the whole thing, which makes me want to say probably that this is really just a support material. I don't know. I was really confident when I teed up this video and walked over here to talk about it, and now that I'm standing here holding it, and the more I stand here and talk about it, the more I'm kind of like, but is it? You know what I mean? But regardless, looking in here, it's right in Mesh Mixer. I'm afraid that I'm about to turn over, I'm about to look underneath one of these rocks and we're gonna find out that I did just rip off the rail and it is inside this piece of support. But let's, we'll get all the way there and make sure if this is gonna vindicate me or not. Okay, the back right, this is the back right V2, looking at it, and we wanna see, is the rail touching the bottom of the build plate? Okay, so so it does have the little rail on the bottom when I'm looking at it. So the likelihood that I actually tore off the little rail and it's encased inside this piece of support right here, the probability that that's the case is like magnifying rapidly. So in fact, maybe that's what the one strip in there that's not see-through, that probably is my rail. So let's think about this. Let's you know, when you run into something like this, you got to make lemonade and figure out how to fix it. So that's what we're going to look at right now. I got a couple of these little tiny screwdrivers. I'm going to get in here with some of these little screwdrivers, and I'm going to break away the support material a little more and see if I can expose a little more and see if I can start to illuminate better what happened based on how much more we can uncover with the little screwdriver. So that's kind of what's cool about the support. It's got these little gaps. You can stick the screwdriver in the little gap and you can kind of push with your thumb, use it as a prying tool to pry off one of these little fins or whatever. And then as you kind of pull it, if you use zigzag like I do, it'll like uncoil, or you know, whatever. It'll unspool, kind of like an accordion or something. Okay, this is separating now off the top. We're doing a little bit of archaeologist. This is the down in the sand with the toothbrush hitting the dinosaur stuff. Yeah, I think it does have a thing in there that got broken. Ding dang it. Let's see. Well, hold on. How would this... Because it's all support material. Like, I can stick my screwdriver all the way through it. That's all support material. And this is what started printing flat on the board. It's almost like man, I don't know. Let's just do this. Let's pull away the rest of what's obviously support material and see if that reveals any additional information. Now I could just get this part keyed up again and send it to print again, but you know what's going to happen is it's probably going to print the same way again, and because of the way that I have it oriented in the printer, I'm not going to know there's something wrong with it until the very end again. So that's not ideal. But like I said, let me just peel away the stuff that I know to be support material, and then we'll see if we learn anything by the end of that. Worst case scenario, I can always just print this again and come and scratch my head and look at it some more, but it's very curious. Okay, so all the support material is basically falling away from it now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm having some weird... Look, I feel very confident that that's all supposed to be support. It's like... has no structural integrity. This little piece right here kind of has the look of like it maybe was supposed to be a part of my part that I was not supposed to rip off. Yeah, I could see how the support is coming away from the side of it so easy. It's because like you're supposed to be removing it. So, but now this is the real head scratcher though. Like, okay, so this is the only part that was hidden inside that support that looks like an actual part that was supposed to be like part of the build. But I'll go over here and inspect it. It's not enough height. Oh, let me move my camera. It's not enough height to get up even with that other thingy. So, very unusual, very curious. Now, there's a couple ways I could attack this. You know, really what we could do, I could just mirror this part. So, like, I have a way in Digilab that if I could, like, since I know this part prints good already, I could just mirror it and just make this part be there. And that would probably do it. I'm just looking at this to see if it has any unique feature that's not on the other one. For now, what I'll probably do, I'll probably reprint this part again just to see if it behaves any differently. It is possible. So let's look at this. Let me tell you why I'm thinking what I'm about to say. Looking at these two pieces together, okay, it looks like the texturing on this piece is the same as the texturing on this piece, which generally would indicate this was supposed to be like a top layer because it's like sealed and closed. What I want to do is, let's see if we can actually flip it on its other end. That might be a good solution for this. I rotate it 180 degrees upside down, which is, it's not going to touch perfectly because the bottom is sloped, you know, the one side of this thing is sloped. But I can go lay flat, let it think for a minute. It may not work that way because, see, it's a little bit, what is the word? Is it concave at the bottom? It seems like it's a little bit not flat or whatever. Maybe, let me just look at the other part. I can probably just look at the other part and tell if it really is or not. This part printed. No, I guess it is flat. Yeah, I guess it is flat at the bottom. So let's just do that. Just print the rail up in the air. That'll, now here's what that will do. Here's why that, one thing about that is maybe like not ideal. It's gonna make our layer lines be running in a different orientation. So like something like this where we're gonna sand it and paint it and sand it and paint it and fill the gaps and all that kind of stuff, it's not actually gonna matter because you're not gonna see any of the layer lines at the end. But if this was gonna be like an unfinished part that we just like, you can see the outer skin of it, then you wouldn't want to do that because like you'd want to keep all your layer lines consistent. It's like wood grain. It's like whenever you're like you know, putting up siding or putting up wooden tiles for a, you know, a cosmetic effect, like the direction of the wood grain matters. So like in this situation, we're not gonna see the grains, so we can kind of get away with some more, we can take some more liberties about how we turn stuff and what side we print on. We just need to make sure we can get a flat surface flat against the bottom. So infill 20%, printing temperatures, zigzag support. We still got the brim. Yeah, so I don't know. It could have been the way we had it turned. It's hard to say why it did what it did, but let me just do this. I'm gonna go down here where the file name is. We're gonna go helmet, back right, V2.1, because I need to have some way to remind myself that this file has been modified. So I'm gonna hit prepare. It's gonna think, where's my flash drive? It's thinking, I'm gonna take my flash drive, stick it in here. We're gonna go back to the Finder, or whatever they call it in Microsoft Word, browser. Oh, not Microsoft Word, Microsoft. Okay, here's my, let's go, saved in removable drive. It'll save it. Okay, and I can eject that, pull this out, and then I'm actually gonna also save this to the file. V2.1, save. Okay, and then I'm gonna come up here and save the slicer file too. So I have this thing turned upside down, V2.1. Okay, so what that does for me is now if I go in the folder, let's just look here, Okay, I saved them in the wrong folders, but we can move that real quick. So here's the G code where it should have been in the slicer folder. I mean, you know, I saved it in the slicer folder. It should have been in the G code folder. So we'll cut that and put it in here. And then, so now we got helmet back left V2, helmet back right V2.1, helmet back right V2. So I have a way to identify some differences here. You could even come in here and put a little note to remind yourself that this is bad. Like you could go bad. Like I've done that before, but it may not be necessary. But you know, once you get like a bunch of these, you might even want to put a little note on there. Like I could even go right here. I'll go back right. The reason why this failed is because the part got truncated, which just basically means like the top got cut off. So that it got truncated. That's what was wrong with that part. But that's why I have a 2.1 is because I flipped it upside down so we can see if it has the same issue or if that resolves the issue. So that's my G code in there now, and then in my slicer folder, yeah, I also have I can delete this now. I got back right V2, back right V2.1, and I'll even put a note on this too. This was truncated. Oops. Okay. So just so I know when I look at it, why is there 2 of these and there's not 2 of all these other ones? Because that's why. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is, you know, we're gonna put some sticky on this build plate and print another part. So this video's run pretty long already. We're at 17 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off so y'all don't just see me glue a board and level the printer again. But thanks everybody for bearing with me. Probably be here in the morning to check this part and see if it worked or see if it didn't work or see what we can do about it. Thanks everybody, have a good weekend.